Aromagees Botanica, a metaphysical store for mind, body, and spirit. Oils, herbs, candles, crystals, teas, handmade soaps, tarot cards, everything you need on your magical journey. Daily psychic and tarot readings, classes, witchcraft, pagan, and hoodoo supplies, most of it made in-house. Try our free Dress Your Own candle station. From spiritual gifts to ritual supplies to religious books, we have the widest selection of metaphysical products in all of Tennessee since 1999. It is our goal to inspire everyone to explore their spirituality in their own way by offering information and products in a nurturing multicultural environment. Open 7 days a week. 223 Donaldson Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, or visit us online at aromagees.com.
Oh, fire, fire, oh, fire, call fire department. Oh, wait, never mind. Fluffy says that it's he's smudging the house. Yep, smudging the house. He's been stressing how important it is to indulge in psychic hygiene. Yep, move that energy. Well, okay, I'm gonna go over here and chew on Fluffy's foot. I'm gonna go smudge the foot so it smells better. Get rid of all that bad juju. You don't want his other foot to fall off. Remember, look us up on With the Fluff. Love ya. Bye. Ow.
We're here on another episode of Everyday Witchcraft. Today's special guest is Beverly Oberline. She is a Holy Fire Karuna Reiki Master. She teaches classes on tarot and croning, and she's also an author. So no further ado, let's welcome Beverly. We're back on another episode of Everyday Witchcraft, and we have Beverly here, and we're going to talk a little bit about energetic healing, things like that. So Beverly, how are you doing?
I am very well, thank you.
Good. I'm glad to have you here. Can you kind of start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for this opportunity to be here. I'm really excited about it. I am Bev Oberline, or Beverly, and I am a tarot reader. I'm an energetic healer. I am a Reiki Master, a Karuna, Holy Fire Karuna Reiki Master. I do several different forms of Reiki. They're just, we'll get into Reiki a little bit more as we go along. But what I find is that even though tarot readings, somebody said, well, I want a tarot reading. I want to know what's, going on in my life or whatever. It's all part of the same thing. All the divination is just as connected to the energetic healing as the energetic healing is connected to the divination. Wax on, wax off. It really truly is. It's all, there was I'm from Springfield, Illinois, which is, of course, Abraham Lincoln's hometown, and there are these little Abraham Lincoln things all over, and there was one bench. And I guess at some point he said, it shall all become one thing, but then the G fell off, and it shall all become one thing, which always cracked me up when I would go by it, but I never forgot it, and the older I got, the more I understood. I don't even know in what context he said that, but the more I understood what he was saying, it shall all become one thing, because it is. It's all one thing. It all comes from the same thing. It all goes to the same thing. We are energy. We know that. The more, the more they study quantum physics and all of that, the more that we know that we really are just energy. This physical body of mine is just energy, just as yours is, just as this building is, as the rain is outside. All these things are energy. So why can't we use energy? Why can't we use an energy stream then to find and help to move out the dis-ease in the body? And dis-ease is obviously how we get the word disease. That's what it's from. It's dis-ease. It is something in the body that is out of balance. It's something in the body that is not right. And so in doing Reiki, Reiki is, most people put it down to a man named Dr. Usui. And he went on a retreat, personal vision quest, whatever, and discovered this energy stream. And he came back and he visualized some different symbols that we use. And he came back and wrote it all down. There's now evidence, some of it's actually written, some of it's anecdotal, that this kind of healing has been done for thousands of years, that the Japanese did it in the pre-dynastic period, and the Chinese as well. And it makes sense. When you know where what we call your ka body, that place, mine's right here. It can be anywhere from here out to here, whatever. But that spot, that place where if you're standing and you feel somebody and they're too close to you, it's because their energy is bumping up against your energy. And you don't have to turn around and look to see them, but they're there. I know you've experienced this like in an elevator or whatever, And so that's how we can actually do Reiki without touching someone, because we just work right there at that level of the ka body. We do lay hands on. I prefer to do that if the client is okay with it, and most people are, because Reiki is not a thing like massage. You can do it fully clothed, and you can do it in your sheet if you want to or whatever. And we don't touch any of the iffy parts. We don't touch any
part. The bathing suit part.
Yeah, and that's not what it's. I mean, if somebody came to me and had a problem in one of those areas, I wouldn't hesitate. But as a general thing, I don't. If I'm just giving a general treatment, I don't. And so, people have a lot of questions about Reiki and what does it do. And I've heard people say, well, I got a Reiki treatment and I didn't feel good for 2 or 3 days. Well, then you got a really good treatment, because what's happening is that energy is moving out of your body, that energy that was not in harmony with the energy, with the best energy of your body, that energy that was not, that was working against your balanced self. That energy is moving out. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't feel very good. You might feel a little bit puny, or you might feel a little sick, or you might feel just not off, I'm just kind of not myself today, but that's okay, because that's a good thing. And then you're going to turn around and say, wow, I feel so much better. And it's a really amazing just way of healing. And I don't even, it does heal, but it's not even, to me, it's a rearrangement. Mm-hmm. It's a rearrangement of energy. It's a realignment of that energy back into what it's. We use different symbols, and they are representative of different types of energy within the Reiki energy. And one may do this, one may be more for, an emotional kind of issue, or something that, if somebody's just really, their heart hurts, they're in grief, they're, maybe they've lost a loved one, maybe they've lost a relationship, maybe they've lost a pet, there's certain things, certain ways that we use that particular energy. And then there's other energy that is for pain, energy that, just helps restore our wellness, our feeling of confidence, and allays fear, just the general, I used to call it back in the 60s, free floating anxiety, just that constant pounding that we hear from news and TV and radio and headlines and marquees, and all the things that are just constantly banging at our heads, and at our emotional center as well, just as we go throughout our day. So when you come in to get a Reiki treatment, then we do what we call a scan, and that is done. And there again, back to the Ka body. I'll find out where that Ka body is on this particular person, and then just run my hands over. And in doing that, once you are attuned to the Reiki, you can feel the difference in the energy. Like if somebody were to do a scan on me, they would find some really disjointed and scattered energy in my knees, because my knees are pretty much destroyed. And so that's, and I can feel it myself, in myself. And you get to where you can really kind of hone in on these things, and then say, okay, well, this needs to be worked out. And I'll story a friend of mine. She does a different kind of energetic healing. And she had a friend who had cancer. So she asked me, and she's several states away, and so is he. And she asked me if I would join with her to do some regular healings with them. And I said, yeah, sure. And so we did. I set up a grid, and that's another thing I'll talk about too. I set up a grid with crystals. That kind of, it's sort of a booster, kind of an amplifier. It amplifies the energy, and I can really direct it, and we do what we call distant Reiki, and that's what we did. And so when I got attuned to Reiki, everybody has specific gifts. The one that I was given is the ability to see what that looks like. And for me, it's like an infrared, like a CAT scan or an MRI scan, where you see what I see as the problem is always red, shades of red, and the redder and the deeper and the hotter. That's how it feels to me, is hot. And so anyway, I just visualized a picture of a human male, and I saw these spots of red. So I told my friend, I said, well, this is where I see. And she said, yeah, that's where I feel it too. And he got a CAT scan, and we both saw exactly where his cancer was.
Wow. Oh, as far as being attuned, do you believe that you have to be there in person, or can you do it long distance? How does that work? I know you mentioned different types of Reiki.
Mm-hmm. For the more I hate to use the word older, but the first types that we were familiar with here in the States, the Tibetan and the Usui, those do, I think, require an attunement. And for myself, I had it done person to person. Mm-hmm. And I think that is really the way to go. I don't see really how it would be very difficult to do that, I think, online. But as far as the Holy Fire Karuna, there is a different book for that, in fact, and it calls it an ignition. And there are steps within that book as to how you can do your own ignition, okay, and begin to use that type of Reiki. I still went to the practitioner that I learned from William Rand himself. And so I went to Elliot, and he had a class, and we did 3 days of work on this stuff. And I just think you get a deeper experience. I think because then once we began to recognize this and be able to, see and feel and use that energy, then we practiced on each other, and I think that's a big part of it, so that how it feels, and where it's going and what it's doing. And so that when you come out of there, you aren't just like, well, I've got this, then you kind of be like the dog that caught the car. Now what? Okay, I got it, but I don't know what to do with it. And not that you wouldn't know what to do with it, but I just think it's important important to really get a little bit of practice in there, before you walk out and hang up your shingle. And so technically it can be done. And, all this information is available. Let me make sure I get the right number here, name. All this information is available online at the International Center for Reiki Training. Okay. And so whoops, wait a minute. Where'd you go? Where'd it go? There you are. So you can go online and look for that. And it will show you, I think they've got a list in there of different practitioners in different areas that do, the training and that kind of thing and the teaching, so that you can, pretty much anybody from anywhere can find something that's within regionally available.
Is that the
International Center for Reiki Training?
Okay. Is it a bunch of different types of Reiki? Is Reiki an umbrella term, and then there's different types underneath it? Is that the way that?
Well, it's all called Reiki. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to it's kind of difficult to delineate, because the Reiki symbols are intended to be kept within the community. They're intended to be not just out there. I know some people who share them. I know some people, I just don't. But there are, within Reiki, within what I do, I may call, once I do the scan, or once you tell me, you may come in and say, I'm just exhausted from this move. I'm just worn out. I just feel like I don't have anything left. Then I'm going to call on a particular kind of Reiki that will help renew your sense of wellness and your strength and just your you. Whereas if you come in and say, oh my gosh, I hurt my knee so bad, I banged it on the couch and then I dropped a box on it and it's just killing me, then I'm going to use a different wavelength on that, because then that's going to be pain and healing. You see what I'm saying? So those are it. I wouldn't necessarily call Reiki an umbrella. All of this is Reiki, but it's just hard to, it's kind of hard to describe that there's I use this symbol for this symbol for that, this symbol for that.
Right. There's a certain symbol for each condition or issue. And also when most people think of Reiki, they're thinking of just the chakras, but that it's so much more than that. Balancing out their chakras, and there's just so much more than that. It's there. Reiki, like you said, has been around for thousands and thousands of years, different forms of it and different types. But it's way more than just cleaning out your chakras, So
when I do a Reiki treatment, I always include the chakras in there, and just ask that. And I generally am thinking of just, the tradition. I mean, there are 20 some, I think, chakras. There are a whole bunch of them. Most people are familiar with, your crown, your third eye, your throat, chest, sacral, all that. And so there again, that's kind of one of those things I can see if I get to the client's feet and if it's wiggly or it's crunchy, then okay, that needs to be realigned. And so I will do what I do to get that realigned. And it just, like everything else, each one of those is an energy center. Each one of those corresponds to, some part of our breathing, some part of our motive power, some part of our healing, our understanding, just everything that we do. And so when the chakras are out of alignment, then again, we are not in alignment. We are not in balance. That is the thing. And I say this in my tarot readings too. I say this more often than anything else. You have got to stay in balance. And when none of us can be 50, we can't be just 50-50. It doesn't work that way. The only thing that we can do is do the best we can to be as balanced as possible given the situation, so that when other things come to us that are not in our control, we can meet them more evenly and steadily, and we can stand there and withstand the storm. And that to me is part of what having your chakras in balance also does, because it, that Kundalini energy that travels up your spine gives you a backbone. That's what it is. It's that backbone. It's that motive power. It makes you, it's the thing that gives you passion and purpose and lets you move forward and go and say, all right, this is what I've conceived in my head. Now I'm going to step out and do this, and all of these things, this goes back to that energy. All of these things, if they are out of alignment, if they are out of whack in whatever way, I have one sideways and one sitting like this and one sitting like that, or da 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 da, it's going to mess with you.
Right.
It may not be obvious, but it's going to mess with you. Maybe it's going to hurt you when you walk because you've got a sore hip, or maybe your thinking isn't going to be clear, or whatever, or maybe you're not going to be able to speak your truth because your throat chakra is clogged up, because you feel all the time like somebody's strangling you, and that's what that is. So it's just
like going to a chiropractor. If you go to a chiropractor and they kind of straighten you out, just from life in general, you're going to get crooked again, and so maintaining everything is important too, kind of doing it regularly.
Well, that's why, and that's another thing. A lot of people will come in and say, I hurt myself, or I have a bad knee, or I have this or that or the other thing, and they just want that thing treated, and as I go through the treatment, I may say, well, I'm feeling something here in your elbow or your shoulder, or, this or that. And they'll say, well, yeah, I did hurt that here a while back, but I thought I got over it. Well, the residual's still there, and I could feel it. And so maybe you need to work a little more on whether you're doing, exercises or swimming in the pool or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you need to think a little bit more about that, because because our society moves so fast, we tend to think once something stops hurting, it's fine, it's healed, And the other thing is that our society tells us to just suck it up and get back out there and keep on grinding. And that is so the opposite of what we need to do. It just really is. I said a long time ago, I'm not meant to multitask. If I multitask, I screw stuff up, because my brain doesn't work that way. It's like, don't ask me. You don't want me to do that. I don't care if it's part of the job description. That's not what you want me to do, because my brain will mess that up. I need to do this thing, and then that thing, and then that thing, and that's about the limit of my things. I don't really need to be too involved with more than about 3 things at one time. And I don't really think that we're meant to do that. I don't. I think it's from corporate think that tells us, oh, you should be able to do this. And, I don't want to get into the political stuff, but it really is just, to me, it's just a way to get more people to work harder for less money, and it's bad.
Right now, they want it done right now. They want all of it done right now, super fast. And, it's crazy, nobody wants to sit down anymore. Messes up your energy.
Yeah, and I've transcribed medical records for 40 years. Just look at the health status of people in this country, notwithstanding the folks that don't even get to see a doctor or can't afford to go. Even the people who have like killer insurance that covers every last aspirin, they're in horrible shape. They're in terrible shape, most, because unless they take it upon themselves to go out and say, all right, I'm gonna exercise, I'm gonna eat right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, unless they really take it upon themselves to maintain some kind of healthy lifestyle regimen, if they just do what all the advertisement and what the general feeling of society tells them to do, they're going to drop over of a heart attack when they're 55, because that's all we do. It's put your nose to the grindstone, don't ever stop, don't ever let up. We are taught that anything that is self-care is, that's kind of selfish, and it's not, it help anybody, and it might even be sinful. We're even in my industry in particular is a good example. We have no benefits. We work on piecework. We're production workers. That's it. We work piecework. So if I don't work, I don't get paid. And I learned to live with it a long time ago. I know how to figure it out, but a lot of people aren't cut out for that. A lot of people aren't able to do that. I don't have kids. I don't have a family that I have to take care of. So I can manage, I can do it and pay my taxes, because you have to pay your own taxes and all that stuff. A lot of people just can't do that. They're just not cut out to do it, or they don't want to worry about it, and that's what I mean. It's just, we're supposed to be, I am grateful that I have a job. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful that I have work, but I'm not grateful enough that I have work to kill myself working it.
Yeah, because then what's the point? What's the point of where's life at? People that are just bam, bam, bam. You've got to slow down a little bit. I've been making it a point to do that myself. Slowing down like every 6 months, slow down for a good few weeks, and then pick back up and start again, because I love what I do. But you got to have time to just enjoy.
You have to do. Yeah, you do. And those are also the times I think that, I thought it was very interesting in a sociological way when COVID happened, and all these people, it seemed like this group of people said, ooh, I'm going to take the time now. I'm going to go to that retreat I've been wanting to go to. I have time now. I can do it. I'm going to take up this, priestess path. I'm going to take up this or that or the other thing. We used to do a show online, my business partner and I mean, we had hundreds of viewers because everybody was home day drinking, mm-hmm. but then they learned from us as we began to talk, because we did it for like 6 hours at a time. We were laughing about that last night. But they learned from us, they learned about tarot, and they learned about energy stuff, and they learned about all these different things, that we talked about during this period. And then this other group of people said, no, I don't want to know anything about any of that stuff. And I just felt like there was a whole lot of denial going on there, because suddenly there wasn't anything to do but look in the mirror. And it's really hard to do that. It's really difficult to do that. But if you can do just exactly what you're saying, whether you do it every 6 months or every 2 weeks or whenever you're able to do it, I don't care if it's 2 hours every week. Mm-hmm. Take that time, decompress, get all that stuff out of your head, just let the flow.
Let it flow. And reassess what you're doing and your goals and things like that too. Because I find that I'll do, and then all of a sudden I'm going, wait a minute, where did my time go to spend, like with my family or my partner or something like that, because I'm so busy doing stuff. So I have to stop for a minute, kind of look at everything. Here's my goals. Am I working toward my goals? Where am I taking time out for me? Because you get so caught up in just daily life, that you're going all the time. And you just got to take a few minutes. And the maintenance is so important, like the energetic healing maintenance is so important. Once you do get to where you need to be physically and mentally, you've got to maintain that. And the only way to maintain that is to take that few minutes.
Right. And it does need to be a regular practice. I mean, I'll treat whatever anybody comes to me with. That's not a problem. But, really and truly, once we get the knee straightened out or the shoulder to stop hurting or whatever it is we're doing, they really, it's, I don't care if it's every month or every 6 weeks. Sometimes, people can't always afford to do what they would like to do, and I try to keep my rates low so that anybody can, because there have been times in my life when, I had to say, can I type for you? Can I do something for you to trade and barter? And so I try to make it so everybody can do it. But people really do need to have a regular practice the same as they go to their doctor, the same as they go to, their psychiatrist, the same as you go to your nutritionist or your trainer or whomever, energetically, we need that same kind of maintenance. We need that same kind of thing to keep us energetically. It's like you said about the chiropractor. It's like your metaphysical chiropractor. I'm keeping your metaphysical bones in line.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, people will say, well, I don't know what to think about when I meditate. Don't think about anything. Just let it come.
Yeah, just let it go.
Or if you want,
is that what you recommend people doing, like on a daily basis or a weekly basis, as far as like helping maintain, besides actually physically going or virtually or however you're doing the treatment on it? What kind of advice can you give somebody? Just maybe somebody's having a hard time meditating. Is there something else that they could do?
Well, I think we have, like everything else, we are so used to somebody telling us that this is this and that's that. Mm-hmm. Meditation does not mean that you have to sit on the floor on a buckwheat pillow in lotus position and sit there and go om. You don't have to do that. That's wonderful. If you have the place and the time and the ability to do that, that's marvelous. Meditation can literally be falling asleep in your recliner. When you are in a state of altered consciousness, if you will but listen, you will hear the things you're supposed to hear. We are trained not to listen. Oh, that's just a dream. Oh, that's just a fantasy. Oh, that's just a blah, 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 whatever. How do you know that? Maybe that's really your soul voice speaking. Maybe that's truly your authentic self saying, hey, this job you have is sucking the life right out of you, and you have always wanted to go do this, and you have an opportunity, and you need to take that leap of faith, the Fool card, step out, step off, and do it. And so, I mean, those things do come to us, but so often we discount them, and so that's, those are what I tell people to do. Anytime that anybody pulls the Hermit, I always tell them, okay, do you meditate? Well, I used to, but okay, start again, do it again, because that's what he's calling for. That's exactly what he's calling for. Go into that darkness, find out what's in there. There's something in there that's wanting to talk to you. There's something in there that's wanting to tell you, somebody's got a message for you, and you need to go in there and hear it, and need to not be afraid of it. And so it can be, I always tell people, it can be your favorite place in the park. If you found a little quiet spot in the park and there's a nice little bench there, or a place you can sit under a tree or whatever, I don't care if the ducks come by or the swans, or there's a little babbling brook, whatever it is. If there's a place where you can go, where you can just let go of all of that yakety yak that we hear around us, that surrounds us all the time, and clear your mind. If you're sitting there consciously watching the water flowing in this little stream, but you're not really engaged in thinking about anything, then your subconscious is going to say, oh, we can tell her now. She's listening. Let's say something, and it'll come. People are like, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, you don't have to do anything. That's the whole point. Don't do.
But allow yourself. Listen. Yeah, just allow you, like zoning out. When you see somebody daydreaming or, just kind of staring off, that's perfect. I mean, if you can, get yourself to that state, that's actually perfect, because that's whenever things are going to really come to you.
Yeah. And I remember when we were little kids and we would get in trouble for daydreaming in class. Mm-hmm. But if you talk to your friend at recess and what were you thinking about? Oh, I was thinking about when I grew up, I want to be an architect. Or I was thinking about, I saw this building I want to build, or I saw this car I want to race, or whatever it was, and whether any of those things came true or not, they were dreams. Excuse me, they were aspirations. They were the things that our subconscious, that our soul voice, our authentic voice was saying, This would make me really happy if you do that.
Look into this. You would be good at this. How do you incorporate your tarot with your Reiki? Is there like that when you do a session, do you do both or do you do one or the other? How does that work?
I generally do one or the other because that's what people ask for. But I mean, I still, you know, sometimes I will, I'll have somebody draw a card, and it just depends. Usually it's separate, because that's usually what people want. I just want a Reiki session, you know. And a lot of the people who come for Reiki can do their own tarot also. So, you know, they can read it themselves, and they don't necessarily need it. But then, you know, somebody will come in and say, wow, I've been drawing, you know, this card or that card or whatever. And then I've been having this weird feeling and da 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 da. And as we go through the session, you know, we may find that, you know, there's a place that's, you know, holding tension or holding hurt or holding whatever, you know, and we'll work through it and finally we'll get the energy moving. And then they may call me in another week or say, I'm drawing that card since, you know, I've been drawing this card or whatever. Right. And you can see that it clears. So in that way, you know, like I said, a lot of the people who come to me for Reiki are already fairly well versed in the tarot, or at least they can read for themselves. And so, you know, they'll use it in that way. But for myself, it's really all connected. You know, it's all connected. It's all the same thing. You know, what tells me, you know, the Five of Swords is going to be the Five of Swords is going to be the Five of Swords. I don't care what deck you use. I don't care what you're reading. I don't care, you know, other than where it appears in the spread. You know, the meaning is not going to change. What changes is when you're an intuitive reader like me, what I pick up from you about that card, you know, and how this might apply in your life or your situation or wherever, you know. And so that is the difference to me. It's where, and that's why I like being an intuitive reader. It works for me, and I prefer to go to an intuitive reader myself. I generally go to Ruthie, but you know, whatever. I mean, you know, why wouldn't I? But it just reinforces to me that it is all connected, and I'm sure you probably find that with the bones. You know, all of that energy, it is all just one big circle, you know, and it's all connected. And if I say, you know, this is this over here, and this is the, you know, this card and the numerology is thus and so, and you can say, well, then I threw the bones, and then this happened, and this happened, and this happened. You can't make it up.
Yeah,
you can't make it up.
Stuff yeah, it's amazing, you know. And if you just put your trust into it, my client that I was reading for right before this, you know, she's got great intuition and great psychic abilities and all these different things, but she doesn't trust it. And it was so funny because I was telling her things she already knew. She's like, well, yeah, actually, I thought that, and I said, you need to trust your intuition. It's very high right now, but it says a lack of confidence, you know, which is why, you know, people come to you for that validation, but you know, it is all together, you know, and the one thing is connected to the other. The mental is connected to the physical. It's connected to like just regular things, friends, love, money, your job. It's all, like you said, it's energetically connected.
Well, and like last night, we were doing our Tarot Tuesday thing, and I did a reading. I do like free one card pulls. And so I did a reading for a friend who was on. And so I pull for that. I just, you know, connect to their energy and pull for them. And so she got the Ace of Cups. Well, that was in the Thoth deck. So then I pulled out the Shaman Heart Oracle deck just for the heck of it and pulled a card. And what do you think it was? Love. Completely different deck. Tarot deck, Oracle deck, two completely different authors. One's, over 100 years old. One is not even a year old. Anyway, the man who taught me Reiki does shiatsu, and I would try to go to him about every 6 weeks, and it never failed. I might be drawing cards, or I might be using my pendulum, or I might just be self-analyzing and saying, wow, I'm really feeling, why am I feeling this? What is this about? Da, da, da. And he'd be working on me, and he'd hit something, and I'd be like, ow, and he'd say, well, that's, you hold, anxiety here, or you hold this here, you hold that. And it corresponded. It was right on. It was just bang on with what I was already feeling and had been analyzing, or what the cards had been telling me, or what the pendulum, you just, when you really open yourself up to this and listen to it and trust it, it will give you, reinforcement after reinforcement after reinforcement. That's what that's just the way it is, and it's well worth, to me, investing in your own health, your own metaphysical wellness, in order to be able to, tangle with everything that we have to deal with.
Yeah, especially now with everything running, so fast.
Well, last year we were just about ground zero for Hurricane Ian here on the island, and Teresa and I were over at Miss Sister Moon, which is my business partner's, our little store over in Cape Coral, and thank heaven we were. But that was my first big hurricane. I'm a flatlander. I'm from Illinois, where it's like the pool table. And we have tornadoes, but they're gone in like a minute. They're really destructive, but then they're gone. And this just sat on us for like 12 hours. If I hadn't had the training that I have had through my priestess work, through meditation, through breath work that I have done, you'd have had to lock me in a rubber room.
Oh.
Because that's what I was able to get through, was just to breathe.
Yeah.
Just to breathe. To control that breathing, so I could control my panic.
Your business, like what do you offer for people? I know you said tarot and you said Reiki, but talk about your sessions a little bit.
We offer, well, our business name is Sister Moon Apothecary and More. Mm-hmm. And we are located in Cape Coral. And my partner, Misty, does the apothecary part. And I'm telling you, the girl is a genius about this stuff. We sell all kinds of really good items that you can use. She has skincare lines. She has a black salve that we will not be without a drawing salve. If you remember that stuff from when you were a kid, pull a splinter right out of your finger. I got a little splinter of glass in my finger. I couldn't even see it. And I put that on, and the next day there it was on the Band-Aid, And she's just made this stuff, because it's been so hot. She's just made up the stuff she calls swamp ass. And it is cornstarch, and it has Lang Lang essential oil in it. And I don't know what else, but it's like a powder. And I'm telling you what, I sprinkle it in my bed sheets just because it smells so good and it feels so cool. You know what I mean? It's smooth. I put it in my shoes, I put it in my clothes. It's wonderful stuff. And everything that she does, everything that she makes is like that. She makes this stuff called Goddess Hair Tonic, and we all use it. And it makes your hair feel thicker, and it's not heavy at all, but it gives, my hair is very thin and flyaway, so it gives body. Do the Reiki, they're at the shop. I mean, people come in and we'll have a Reiki session. And then I can also I do tarot, I do pendulum readings, I do all forms of energetic healing. There's one called Cylinder and Heart Cord, which a friend of mine taught me, that she received in a download. And honestly, I'm not sure, this lady's not from here. She's really not. She's kind of amazing. But it's just a form of energetic healing, and once you tune into it, it kind of all comes in, and it all works together. And so, that's what we do. I occasionally teach a class. I did a Cronin class last year online, and I believe Ruth and I are actually going to work up another one. Because I find that a lot of women, when they get to that place, are like, I don't know what to do now. I'm on Facebook as Wolf Spirit Energy, and you can find me too, wherever online or via through Sister Moon as well. And so I do Reiki, distant Reiki. And there are a couple of places here on the island where you can make an appointment and I can do Reiki there, which is good for island people because we're like, do I have to leave the island? I don't want to leave the island.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to leave the island.
So anyway, so that's kind of it. And, and I do my priestess work with Ruth also, with Ruth Souther. And that's an important part of what my life is and what I do, and I really enjoy that. Her teaching is really something else. I appreciate the opportunity. I was really glad to meet you there, and whoops, did it again.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be.
All righty, blessed be.
We are going to continue our magical recipe segments. This time we're going to work in the kitchen. We'll continue the bone magic recipes in the next episodes coming up. This is working with mushrooms, magic with mushrooms. So it helps with pain, inflammation, digestion, and it also helps with stress. Let's just jump right on in. I have mango chunks frozen, so just add a few of those. Mangoes help with digestion. They also help your body absorb water. Even better than just drinking plain water, they help. So we've got a little bit of mango. We have pineapple. Pineapple, same as mango, it helps you absorb water into your body, into your system, even better than water does. Aids in digestion, and both mango and pineapple have so many other benefits as well. They have like 20 vitamins and minerals, and so that's excellent to add. I'm going to add a dash of cayenne pepper. Now, you don't need much, just a dash. Everyone knows cayenne pepper has so many different benefits, but this video is particularly for like body aches, pains, and also to help with digestion. But, cayenne pepper also helps with the circulatory system, and all these ingredients do help fight cancer. Everyone knows how good turmeric is for you. Turmeric also helps with digestion, and it helps with body aches, pains, arthritis, and even fibromyalgia. Matcha helps with a lot of different things. Energy, burns calories, helps with focus, the immune system, lowers stress, all those wonderful things. We're going to add a little bit of matcha to our mix. We have moringa vegetable powder. It's a superfood, and it also gives you some calcium, and it's a good source of fiber. Of course, we need protein, so I have plant protein. This is pea and quinoa protein powder. Mine is gluten-free and soy-free and dairy-free. Okay, now I'm going to add Amanita pantherina. Now, this doesn't have the psychoactive, it is a mushroom. It does not have the psychoactive ingredients in it. So we're going to do that next. That helps with stress and pain. A little bit of green Mang Da also helps with joint arthritis, pain, and stress. Now, this can be illegal in some states, so make sure it's legal in yours. It is the green Mang Da kratom. We have organic MCT oil. Now, this is made from coconuts, organic coconuts, and this oil is a good fat, okay? And we have to have good fat in our diet. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of that in here. It has a lot of health benefits, but the primary that I'm using it for here is for focusing digestive issues and also joint muscle pain, things like that. There is
so much there's so much information right now on the internet about castor oil and its benefits. I'm just starting this program, so I'm just going to use a little bit of castor oil. It aids in digestion, but it also helps with everything else. I mean, it helps with muscle aches, body aches, headaches, stomach issues. I use it externally, and I'm going to use a little bit internally just to keep my digestive system on track. I'm going to use the Kabani oat milk, which I think tastes the best. It's just the regular, not vanilla, not anything, no sugar added, nothing like that. You need to shake it well, and then I will pour that about halfway up and just kind of test it from there. Build a little bit higher, just about a fourth more with some water, some spring water, and then you have a beautiful mixture. We're going to seal it up and we're going to blend it. To shake it in between. Here's where the magic comes in. As you are casting into your mixture here, you want to push the intention in. Okay, so I'm pushing in love, obviously. I'm pushing in relief of joint pain and healing of any arthritis, any other aches and pains, and I'm bringing digestive health. Okay, so I'm going to do that for a minute. I'm going to concentrate on it, and I'll be right back. The end result, it looks quite beautiful. It's rather thick, so if you want to add a little bit more milk, that's fine. But you want to...
I hope you enjoyed that magical mushroom recipe for pain, inflammation, digestion, and even stress. Like I said, we're going to continue our bone magic series next episodes, and I hope you enjoy.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, John Amer from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have a Hearst Mania show, Weston, West Virginia. We're at the beautiful Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Weston, West Virginia. I'd like to invite you to our Hearst Mania 2023 show. We've got many activities starting on Thursday, touring cemeteries, mummies, Hearst shows, haunted house, asylum tours, and we also have a special Saturday night where we are going to attempt to break a world record for the most mourners for a fictional character. We are burying Lucky Stiff, and all free, no admission, no registration fees, and we'd love to have you. That's September 21 through September 23.
And where can they find you and get information? Do you have a site, Facebook?
We have a Facebook page called Hearst Mania. They can look us up there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. The cemetery tour we're doing on Thursday, the response is like unbelievable. I mean, I already know we're selling everything out for that day. I mean, the attendance, and this is our first year doing it, and we're already breaking records left and right on it. The hotel, we blocked rooms from last year, and we added another 15 rooms to that. We sold them out 3 months ago. They gave us another block of rooms. We sold those out. Now the hotel's gone. So that's from last year's record. So it doesn't always translate into cars, hearses showing up, but we're definitely going to have more people this year. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Amy Amore, and this is my booth at Morticious. I started this business in 2008, slinging dead things since 2008. Amy Amore.
For fun, we went to Allentown, which was right down the street where we were staying. We hit the Weeping Glass Oddity Shop, which is in the underbelly of Pittsburgh. Such a beautiful place, magical supplies, oddities, curiosities. They actually held a cocktail party for us. Out of town, we went to the Grim Wizard Coffee Shop. Now, they have all kinds of coffees, teas, pastries, everything is homemade, their own special blends, and they are actually famous all over the United States. Used to tour with the Oddities and Curiosities show. I had the Thunder Horse. One of the best places that we went was the beef jerky experience, and there is just all kinds of jerky here. The guy that we met that owns the place was really cool. He even gave us a sample of his cherry flavored jerky, but they have like kangaroo, buffalo, elk, venison. They have anything you can think about. So we had a lot of fun on our trip, and can't wait to go back.
That concludes another episode of Everyday Witchcraft. I want to thank Beverly Oberline for joining us tonight, and I also want to thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Blessed be.